Congratulations, graduates of 2016. Not only did you all wake up in time and remember to put on your matching outfits, but the weather is sort of holding up. Concentric energy, let's do it. Can we take a moment to recognize that you did this? Nobody cared. Yes! Yes! Nobody cares now if you're here with D's for diploma, or if you're just, yes, thank you, good job. Or if you're here collecting your diploma to stuff under your bed just to wait for that triple frame to put your bachelor's, master's, and doctorate in. Yes, you got here. High five. Am I right, Colorado? I would like to take a moment just for a few thank yous. President Norton, who I met this morning, and we're now besties. The Board of Trustees, the Alumni Association, Victoria Nickham, and all of my professors in the PVA department when I was a student here, especially Tom McNally, who will be duly honored today. Yay! It is truly a terrifying and great honor to be giving this speech today. And oh my God, now I have to actually give it. Okay. When I agreed to give this address, I think the first thing I did was I peed my pants a little. And then I just tried to, forget that I had even said yes and pretend that it was no big deal, that it wasn't happening, because fear. Why me? I mean, who am I to give advice to all of you? Most of you have no idea who I am. And if you do recognize me, you're part of the theater department. Thank you. Or you have some seriously obscure YouTube search habits, and I would actually like to talk to you afterwards. You intrigue me, you weirdo. I know you're out there. But seriously, who am I to give you advice? What is advice anyway? Well, I Googled the definition for you. Advice, guidance or recommendations concerning prudent future action typically given by someone regarded as knowledgeable or authoritative. I don't feel like I look old enough to be regarded as authoritative or knowledgeable, so here we go. It also means a formal notice of a financial transaction, which obviously I am not, although I am sure that I don't need to remind you just how very expensive these newly minted, beautiful, college-educated brains of yours are. And now these brains are all yours. Go forth into the world. You are your own idiots now. Back to the point. Looking up the definition of advice didn't help bolster my confidence, but I did find that the sense of the word from its Latin origin was meant to convey a way of looking at something, an opinion given. Okay, I can handle that, I think. Surely I can provide you with a way of looking at the world that you are about to get all up in. I can certainly offer my perspective on how to blossom into the people that you want to be and to change the world in epic fashion. In my perspective, I believe that if you want to succeed at anything ever, you must tell your story. I can't stress enough the importance of storytelling. I mean, I think it's so important. It's what I do for a living as a performer. And I've learned about so many different cultures because of my job, because of storytelling. It has made me a more compassionate person in my life in general. There are no villains in storytelling. You have to love a villain to truly understand one. Empathy. To tell a good story, you must identify with every character in some way to bring them to life with equal or at least proportionate importance. Are you still not convinced? Okay, maybe science will compel you. When we are presented with raw information like facts and figures, only 2 regions in the brain are activated. These regions are the center for language processing and comprehension, but when we present information through storytelling, not only are those 2 areas activated, but the cerebellum, motor, olfactory, visual, and auditory cortexes are all firing at the same time. Let me give you an example. Try to connect to and retain the following facts with numbers. August 14th, miles from Flagstaff, Arizona to Greeley, Colorado, 831. Weeb King Hall, 920th Street, 80631. A Chevy Tahoe with the color code 296B43WA177B. You got that, right? No? Okay, let me tell you a story. Move-in day, August 14th, the year 1998, when I was going to school as a freshman. I was flitting about my room in Weeb King Hall, making super awkward impressions with my new roommates, while my parents frantically helped me put my bed on cinder blocks. Yeah. And they tried to soak up every last moment with their first child to fly the nest. And once my room was all set up, it was time for my parents to make the mournful pilgrimage back to Arizona without me. My dad drove our green Chevy Tahoe from 20th Street, creeping around that corner onto 10th Avenue, and my mom sort of climbed into the passenger seat in slow motion while trying to hug me with one arm. And, well, me, I blew them kisses with the subtext of, "Later, suckers!" And then I simultaneously broke their hearts and gave them fodder for guilt trips for years to come. Was that a little easier to retain? See, when I tell you a story, you take the journey with me. In fact, science, our brains just synchronized for a moment while we experienced common emotion. We are one! Yes! You can change the world just a little bit by telling your story and bringing everyone along with you. Feels good, doesn't it? Turning the page. Also, observation is just as important as participation. So if you feel like you don't have a story to tell yet, or you aren't ready to let your freak flag fly yet, you can still be, you must be part of the story. I mean, you can't tell a story anyway if you don't listen and absorb the facts. That's like trying to tell a joke without a punchline. Knock, knock. See, it doesn't work. You can be anything you want to be, graduates, regardless of what your diploma says you are now allegedly an expert at. You are a multi-talented, multifaceted generation of humans that is now owning the opportunity to do anything you want to do for the whole 15 minutes that you can pay attention to it. Burn. No, you will continue to hear that your generation has no grit. Your generation is fickle, lazy, unattached. But you know what? Anyone that says that is just jelly. You know, and they have reason to be. They didn't grow up in a time where any and all information was accessible at the swipe of a finger or gleaned from badly autocorrected dictation into a tiny machine that fits into your pocket. I never, ever mean duck autocorrect. You can be anything you want to be, seriously, because the story that you tell is the story that people will believe. The hard work now comes in living up to your own expectation of yourself. Astronaut and all-around rock star Chris Hadfield was asked a question when Skyping with elementary school students in space. And the question was, how do I become an astronaut? And he answered this so beautifully. He said, how do you become an astronaut? Well, how do you become anything? First, you have to decide what you want to be. And then, every day, you do something that turns you into whatever it is you've decided you want to be. Every decision that you make turns you into that person a little bit more day by day. He is so smart for an astronaut. You keep telling your story, and not only will the world open its arms to you, but others will inevitably join in for the ride. Now, as I conclude my speech, just take a moment and squeeze all of those muffin friends that you've made here, not only because adulting is hard, but because these are some of the longest friendships you'll have. These are the people that know your stories, that are part of your stories, and will inevitably torture you with the retelling of your stories at the most inappropriate times in the future. But you will love each other more and more for every story told. What story will you tell? Congratulations, graduates of 2016.